We're looking at Ben Zobrist's first Royal jersey, is that correct?
Yeah, from 1985.
And this happened to be a year when the Royals were in the World Series, it turns out. Ben
This is
won.
what he wore to the Royal games.
And as I believe you said earlier, the Royals games were the first games he remembers going to, although
Right.
it turns out the Cardinals games were the first ones he actually went to.
Yeah, we had him as a baby. He went to some Cardinal games, but he remembers going to the Royal games first. And so,
Has Ben seen this since you dug it out?
I don't know, honey. Did you send him a picture of that?
I did. I sent him, and he said, "No way."
Yeah.
Where'd you find
And
that?
so there's a lot of Royal fans in Eureka right now because Ben's on them, and the Cubs and Cardinals have both lost. So there's a lot of Royal fans. But this house right here has a true Royal fan. This is where my son-in-law lives with my daughter. He grew up a Royals fan and is still a Royals fan, will always be a Royals fan, and he is especially with his brother-in-law playing for him.
And that was quite a thing for Serena and Michael when they learned that Ben was going to the Royals.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were all excited because he'd be so close. He was in high school at the time, and his friends, they had like a wiffle ball league that they made. And out there in the corner was we put a backstop. I helped him put the backstop up. We had a couple of pole lights out there where they could just run some cords out from the house and have lights so they could play at night. We put this flagpole up, and then he had a fence that he ran around the outside there. He dug out the base where the bases went. He dug it out, made those dirt so it looked like a turf field. And then he would meticulously mow that part of the field, the grass. Didn't really care about the other 2 acres, but he would take that part and he would hand mow it meticulously. And then they would paint lines. They would string a string and they'd paint lines out there. But the only thing left now is the backstop, and it's kind of falling apart because we sight in our guns for deer hunting back in that corner, and we shoot the backstop sometimes, and so it's kind of falling apart. On this swing set right here on the other side, he had a scoreboard hanging where he'd get one of his sisters to sit up there and hang numbers on it as the game was going on. I think he would say that he learned to switch hit playing wiffle ball.
And so you were out here pitching?
Oh, yeah.
And what was your arsenal? I mean, you had
Oh, man. I had a little bit of everything. But I was kind of like Dickie. I didn't know where it was going when I threw it a lot of times. And if you get a southwest wind, you could really make it move. If it was too windy for that, we'd use tennis balls. We'd play tenny ball. And we'd use hard bats for that. And then the house would get pummeled with tennis balls because this would be the left field home run. And his friends, the whole front yard up the driveway there would be full of cars. And there'd be teams out here at night. And there was one night about 12:30 in the morning, I had to send them home. They were still out here hollering and yelling, and the lights were on still, and they were fighting over pitches and whether it was fair or foul and all that. They used to play back here and had their own little Fenway Park back here. I'll show you why I say that. It's kind of a practice football field now. But if you could picture there being down in this area over in this corner where this fence is now, there was home plate was back in this area, and the first base line would go right down where those long jump pits are. Right there would be the first base line. And where they ran into problems was if there was a track meet at the same time as a baseball game, the fans in the bleachers were in danger of foul balls hitting down the right field line. So it wasn't uncommon for somebody to get hit with a foul ball in the bleachers during a baseball game. And so that kind of became a problem. That's why they eventually built a new field. But right here is where home plate was. And then out there in left field, you see that's a pretty short poke out there, but they had that fence built higher, so that became their own little Fenway Park here, where they had to get it up a little bit to hit it out in left field. This is where he played high school ball. And his last at bat here was in a regional game where it actually got rained out partway through, and they finished it over at the college the next day. But he had a home run. His last at bat here was a home run.